All right, guys, we are here today. It is Monday. We got retail sales coming out later. Ooh, man, I wish my voice sounded like this all day, man. It's like Batman, you know? Hello. Hello. All right. I'm awake, though, so. All right, I gotta. Yeah. Chocolate rain, you know? Oh, man. I wish it sounded like this. It's only when I first wake up. Like, I think everybody's voice sounds really deep when they first wake up. Give me a little bit, it'll come back, you know? Uh. All right, so I'm looking at my portfolio today. We're green. Looks like red. Friday was a big red day, though, no? It had to be. Yeah, Friday was a red day. Actually, no. I don't know. I don't think it was that bad. Maybe it was. Let me put some charts up. Hold on. All right, so let's look at Tesla. Tesla at 170s, dipping all the way down. Google at 160s. We've got Nvidia at 890, still under 900 bucks. Apple. This morning we got like Goldman Sachs earnings. We got a bunch of stuff dropping. Let's put the charts up here. Where's the SPY at? SPY's up a little bit today, but red day Friday. Yeah, I'm in Apple right now. I bought it a couple days ago, and I'm very green on it. I took profit on it already. So, I mean, we're good there, you know. We're red on it this morning, though. Apple has big swings. Yeah, we'll see what happens with earnings. You know, earnings come out this month for Tesla. Next week, actually, on the 23rd. So, next Thursday. No, next Tuesday is when Tesla earnings drop. So, yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see what we get. And again, we do have Goldman earnings. We've got a bunch of stuff dropping. Let me see. What's up, Pawn? Again, we do have retail sales. Gold is down a little bit, but it's not a shock. I mean, it's had a really good, 20 days. It was at 2150s 20 days ago. It's at 2360s now. So it's had a really good, kind of slow grind up. Pulling back a little bit today, but not a shock. I mean, it's not going to go straight up. Yeah, Goldman earnings drops this morning too. They are expected at 7:30, so it is 6:30 now. So they're expected about an hour. M&T dropped already, I think. Let me take a look at the news today. China's PBOC is holding its 24 financial stability meeting. Says it will optimize risk monitoring mechanisms. JP Morgan March credit card charge-off rate was 1.49%, previous at 1.58%. Delinquency was at 0.79. M&T did drop. M&T Bank posted earnings of 302 EPS versus 309 estimates, so they missed EPS estimates. Revenue of 2.26. They expected 2.26, so neutral for revenue, missed EPS. So mixed results here, but mostly negative, I would say. And it looks like, I'm guessing they're gapping down. I haven't looked at the stock yet. Let's take a look. MTB. Okay, they're not really moving at all. They're just not really super liquid. So they're just not really liquid. Here's the Q. Again, the Q at 440s. We're watching that. Yeah, I've been in SoFi, man. Dude, my hat keeps catching the end of. There we go. My sweater. SoFi is down yesterday, up a little bit today. But I'm down in SoFi. I'm in it though, but I'm not green in it. Yeah, today we have retail sales and we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Is Ilya Toporius? I don't think he comes across. I mean, you got to understand, man. Like, so, you know, it's easy to look and judge, I think, you know, and I get it, right? I really do get it. But I think it's easy to look and judge. But I think if you've got a camera in your face, like a media camera in your face, you might be awkward, uncomfortable. You know, I know I personally would. Like, I'm awkward in general when I meet anybody. So, if I got a camera in my face, I'm going to be more awkward, almost certainly, you know. But that was a great night of fights. That Max Holloway fight versus Justin Gaethje was crazy, you know. Yeah, that was a crazy fight, honestly. Honestly, they were all good fights. Like, it was a great card. Like, let me see. So it was just a good card. Alex Pereira knocking out Jamal Hill, Wiley Zhang tapping out Yan, and then having her wake up and then restart it and then lose by decision. Gaethje versus Holloway was fun. I thought Charles Oliveira beat Arman Sakorian. I did think Charles Oliveira won. I thought he was much more offensive and aggressive and tried to finish the fight versus Arman, who just kind of wrestled him. Bo Nickel looked really good. You know, Bo Nickel looked really good against Cody Brundage, kind of threw him around. That was a good card. Kiri Prokaska versus Alexander Ratchik. You know, KO Alexander Ratchik was fun. Aljamain winning a decision, boring. Holly Holm getting beat up, man. Kayla Harrison looks like a monster, dude. She is, she looks like a monster, dude. She's so big, bro. Like, you look at her, she's swole, man. I'm not trying to fight her either, you know. Diego Lopez looked good too. It was a good, you know. Yeah. It was just a good card. It was fun, you know. Yeah, Nvidia's back up to almost 900. It's at 894s right now, so it's trying to make its way back. Tesla layoffs more than 10% of its global workforce via electric sighting and online company-wide email. So again, Tesla laying off over 10%. Probably trying to help margins. I'm surprised this isn't helping the stock more, right? Like, look, here's the Tesla news. I'm surprised this isn't helping the company more. Here's the Tesla news. Again, a lot of it, what's weird is that, like, okay, over the last 2 years, every time a company would announce layoffs, the stock price would go up, right? So I'm really surprised Tesla's gapping down on this news. The last few years, layoff news has benefited the companies because of better margins, you know? So it's interesting to see Tesla react negatively when a lot of other tech stocks have been doing well on this stuff like this. So I have no idea what retail sales are going to be, you know? Nobody does. We can only speculate and react. All right, chat.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at this other guy's channel. Interesting. So Pawn and I are looking for people to maybe collaborate with, but I don't know, man. I'm just kind of. You know, one thing I'm realizing is that, like, my channel as, like, a streaming channel is an outlier. Like, a lot of other channels try to only stream and it doesn't work. You know, a lot of channels make it work, but a lot of channels, you know, YouTube's hard, man. Yeah, I'm sure oil is running up, right? So oil, I'm sure, is making some moves today on, so oil's down technically. It ran up a lot last week on the, you know, on the war news, basically. So oil is something I'm definitely watching today. Gonna mute the background music for a second. Hold on. All right. Yeah. Yeah, so the expected numbers for retail sales, we're going to put this up on the screen, really. So retail sales expected. We're going to put the core retail sales up first because I think with retail sales, I mean, they're both relevant indexes, but yeah, we're going to look at core first. So wait a minute, is retail sales not today? Okay, yeah, it's today. I was about to say, bro. I was about to panic. So yeah, so core retail sales expected at 0.5%. Regular retail sales expected at 0.4%. Is what this is. So 0.5% for core. Empire State Manufacturing Index. Empire State Manufacturing Index expected minus 520. Minus 520. All right, so there's the expected numbers and what to look at for all this stuff. No, I'm not gonna look. To be honest, Sam. So Sam says, John, if you were to collab with a smaller trading channel, would you want payment? No, not at all. Like I realistically, okay. Like and again, I'm gonna say this, and I'm not trying to like brag. I'm really not, right? Like I'm really not trying to brag. But like whatever they could pay me would be insignificant. No offense, like to the overall, like you stop thinking about that as much. I think when channels are really small, right, like they're so desperate to monetize themselves that they start wanting they focus too much on how much money they can make, right? And again, I think Mark Zuckerberg said this very well, which is that when you're in the beginning, in order to grow, you need to be cool, and ads aren't cool. And so when you're first trying to grow, you can't put too many ads out there, and like you can't look for money in too many places. Like you have to get that initial growth out the way first before you really start trying to monetize. It needs to be something where you grow your channel to a organically solid point, and then once you're there, then you start hitting people with ads, right? But you need to grow there first. And so really, like, again, what these small channels would pay me, it might be like what, like $500. Like, again, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. It's something that wouldn't even be, it's something that I wouldn't even consider. Like, I'm not even thinking about them paying me money. Like, I'm just looking at ways to help my growth, right? And for some small channels, it might be worth it. For some other channels, it's not worth it to collab with them anyway. But again, I wouldn't charge them. Any channel I did want to work with, I'm not going to charge them for it, Like with Beach Bum, right? Like Beach Bum's a channel that's friendly with mine. Like I gave him a redirected all my viewers to him not too long ago. I didn't even think about charging him for that because it's just not something. I've had people reach out to me wanting, like saying, hey, if you redirect to my channel, we'll pay you $1,000 or whatever. And I'm always just not really interested in that, just because, yeah. Top 3 refusing payment YouTubers in the world right now, for sure. I pay not to see ads. Well, you don't pay for this, I have YouTube Premium too, if that's what you're talking about, But you're still gonna get ads. Most of the ads, like, look, no, never mind. Like, YouTube pays me well, and I appreciate YouTube, but I make much more from other sponsors, than YouTube. And so my point is, you're still gonna get ads, right? You're just not gonna get ads that take you away from the video, But again, I'm okay with both of them, So we got Powell again tomorrow. I believe he speaks again tomorrow, man. This Powell has been speaking constantly. Yeah, he speaks at 1 o'clock tomorrow. It's kind of a slow week, so I'm okay with it, right? He's speaking with Canada about the Canadian and U.S. economies. So it is going to be slightly, like somewhat economic related from my understanding about Powell. And so he speaks tomorrow. All right, guys. What a humble response. I don't know if humble is the way I'd describe that response, but I appreciate it. Yeah, it's not like look. I like this YouTube channel. My YouTube channel, it provides a service, right? Like, we cover economic. People can act like whatever they want to act like, but most of the time they're just getting weird and trying to find something wrong. But we provide a service. Like, we cover economic data on time every day. You know, we cover press conferences with Powell, FOMC meetings, earnings, all that good stuff. But once you grow to a certain point, like, you really, like, you stop thinking about sponsors as much, because again, the sponsors will come to you at a certain point. Like, I think when you're really small as a YouTube channel, you start reaching out to other sponsors, desperate for somebody to sponsor you. And I get it, but once you grow past a certain point, you know, the sponsors come to you more so, if that makes sense. And like, you can just kind of pick whichever ones you like and figure it out, you know. I like helping young channels, though. It just depends on who it is, man, you know. I watch more of everything because of no ads. Yeah. All right, we got Goldman Sachs earnings today, chat. Goldman Sachs earnings. All right, gold. Oil is the one I'm watching this week, man. Oil's up a lot. Microsoft's still taking pretty good moves. I'm in Microsoft at 312.60s. 312.60s. Oh, Alex Pereira, David? Yeah, bro. Dude, that dude's got huge hands, bro. Like, my friend, I was talking to my friend Britt, who's like one of my, you know, he's my best friend, right? And he was watching the fights with me, right? So we were on the phone watching them, and we'd kind of time it up so we could watch them at the same time. And, you know, we were talking about Pereira and, like, why Pereira KOs everybody. There's a few reasons, I think. Number one, he's got huge freaking hands. Like, Pereira's hands are freaking ridiculous. Number two is that Pereira doesn't really throw. He doesn't always throw full power, right? You would think somebody that's a KO artist is out there just kind of flinging around, like throwing huge power, and he does, right? But he kind of pokes at people almost. Like, he pokes at people. His hands are so big that, like, you know, they always say the punch that you don't see hurts the most, right? And I think that is why he knocks people out, is because people don't see it coming, right? And he's got huge hands, and they don't see it coming, and he kind of just pokes at you, where he's just kind of poking at you. And like, I'm not saying he's not throwing it quickly. Like, he's very quickly poking at him, and it's catching them off guard, and that's what knocks him out. And then when they're dazed, that's when he starts to throw full power at them, and it works really well. You know, Jamal Hill looked really good over the last few fights, and he took him out in like 20 seconds. So, all right, are their earnings expected to do good year over year? I'm assuming you're talking about Goldman Sachs, right? I know Goldman has earnings today, and Goldman Sachs are expected at 854 EPS, 854. Yeah, well, that's cool, Sam. Again, I'm not really looking for people to collaborate with like that. Like, I just kind of look around at all times to see if, especially if somebody's streaming at the same time as me. It's just not really, something I'm looking for. All right. Nvidia is one to watch today. Again, Nvidia under 900. It's been basically flat though since March. Like if we look at a daily chart on Nvidia, it's mostly been sideways. It's gone up a little bit, it's gone down a little bit, and it's stayed sideways. We'll see if the short-term SPY rally begins. I hope it does. He basically KO'd Jamal with 3 knuckles. Yeah, he did. It was honestly, I knew that was coming though. Like after the Hiri fight, the Hiri Prakaska fight, and I kind of had a feeling that Pereira was about to just go out there and do that, Yeah, Jay Powell coming on stream eventually, Sam, for sure, I wonder how much that would really cost to get Powell on stream. Number one, like, I'm sure Powell would look at my channel and be like, like maybe if I was beginner economics, then maybe I could talk him into it. I'd probably have to pay him like 30 grand or something. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think Powell's coming out here no matter what. Again, Powell speaks tomorrow at 1:30. Yeah, some fun fights for sure. The problem is the next UFC events look terrible. Like the next pay-per-view looks really bad. Like really bad. It does not look good at all. Like the problem is if they diluted all the other fights that are coming up. 301 looks really bad. It's just not that good. It's not that bad. I'll watch it, probably, but I'll watch all of them. Looks like 302's not built yet. It's not together. All right, guys. So yeah, Tesla under 170s, man. Just again, layoff news. We covered this news earlier. It is news of layoffs here. You can see the layoff news right here. So here's the layoff news for Tesla. Again, they laid off more than 10% of their global workforce. This was found out through Electric citing an internal company-wide email. So yeah, Tesla laying off some people here. Not good. Yeah, Conor McGregor's coming back in June. No, it's 303 is Conor coming back. Meta up on Dan investment. Yeah. Yeah, so Meta is up to over 520s. Looking strong. Again, we got to wait for Goldman. Goldman earnings come out pretty soon today. Spirit Airlines prelim Q1 numbers came out. Flat, really. Not really anything major, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure 303's Conor coming back. Nvidia is just one of the crazier stocks right now in the market. Nvidia is kind of the new Tesla, I would say. Like, it all goes by following. So we're looking at like following, like the following that these companies have, how many traders are interested in them, what kind of support they get. And Tesla's a big one, right? But again, Nvidia is kind of the new cool kid on the block that just showed up over the last few years, and everybody's interested. Again, Nvidia earnings, we had over 13,000 concurrent people here watching our stream. So there's a lot of people interested in Nvidia, and Nvidia, to be fair, has had a massive influence over markets the last few years. It's propped up the S&P 500 and dragged it up really high. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, but again, like, so Connor took a long break after Habib. You know, what I learned since starting jiu-jitsu is that, like, you know, you could be good, right? But if you roll with somebody who is really good, who's been doing it their whole life, there's nothing you can do, right? Like, there's nothing you can do in grappling terms. Like, you could, I'm sure in striking, you could strike them. But, like, the easier way to describe it is, like, you're helpless. If you roll with somebody that's like a lifelong grappler, you know, you could be a purple belt, blue belt, whatever. If you roll with somebody that's like a lifelong black belt, you're going to have a tough time, you know, and that's what you see in Connor, right? Connor's great at striking. He's great at striking, but his grappling is very, he's not new, right? But he could train every day for the next year straight and still not beat, you know, for the next few years and still not come close to out grappling Habib, right? And so Habib knows that he's never gonna beat Habib. He's just not. Habib's too good, you know. Yeah. John, what do you think of Intel for a 5 to 10 year investment horizon? I think Intel's interesting price wise. I bought a little bit of it last week. It kept dipping though. I don't know whether I should add to it or what I want to do with it. I think Intel's fine. I think they could be vulnerable to competition though, INTC. But again, I really have no idea. Not an investment professional. No idea what Intel's going to do. I'm in it, but I don't want anybody to copy me. I might be wildly wrong. It might crash today. I don't know. But I do think it'll probably be fine. You know, I think it'll probably be fine. 5 to 10 years is a long time. Time tends to heal a lot of wounds in stocks, with blue chips specifically. So like over 5 to 10 years, it's probably going to go up. You know, I don't know how much, but. All right, chat. All right, so look at Tesla crack lows here, guys. Tesla breaking down here, hitting lows, looking really, really weak. Again, they had layoff news. I'll put this up on screen. Yeah, so you can see it on screen. They did have layoff news. We also have retail sales today, chat. So we do have retail sales. I'm going to put a timer up. We also have Goldman Sachs dropping earnings in about 25 minutes here. So really, we got about an hour and 25 minutes left. You know, we got about an hour and 23 minutes left until this comes out. But yeah, Tesla cracking lows down to 169s here. All right, so the president is going to award as much as $6.4 billion in grants to Samsung to increase the magnitude of its chip production with Texas. Samsung's going to invest $40 billion total, which includes a new 2nm FAB. So interesting. Yeah, it's crazy. So. All right. PRZO. Yeah, AMC down again at 260s, man. Just looking really weak. PRZO is gapping up, but it's a terrible, terrible penny stock that I'm not interested in. Lulu earnings. Yeah, I mean, Lulu's down a lot. Again, I don't trust them, man. Again, they're vulnerable to competition, bro. I've talked about this before, and I'll say it again. Lululemon, the problem with them is very obvious, which is that, number one, I would say it's just really clever marketing that people eventually are going to catch up to. All right. What I mean by this is, like, if you ever find somebody who shops at Lululemon, you know, what they'll push on you is, look how comfortable it is. Look how comfortable it is. It's so comfortable. You know, look how comfortable these clothes are. Right. That alone puts it in your head, hey, these clothes are comfortable. Where, like, you try on a normal pair of, like, the same pair of shorts at Walmart, you're not going to really think about that. You try the same pair of shorts on at Academy, you're not really going to think about that. So somebody's sticking that in your head. Placebo effect is there. So you try on Lululemon, you're thinking about it, and you're like, oh, it is comfortable, right? When really, like, I've tried on both Lululemon versus other shorts. They feel, the other similar styled shorts, they feel exactly the same to me. And so paying, you know, a 500% premium for Lululemon shorts just seems like good marketing. Like, they're just marketing this to people. They know they have to convince people to pay ridiculous premiums for it because a freaking pair of shorts at Lululemon's like $100, right? And so I think it's just clever marketing. I think eventually not only are competition going to come out with very similar stuff, which they have already, but they're also, people are going to kind of snap out of it eventually and say, hey, why am I spending $100 on a pair of flimsy shorts? And so I think that's kind of something that happens over time, as well as, like, the fact that, number one, they're a style company. Styles change. It's seasonal. Styles tend to change, right? So Lululemon might be the hot thing, or it might have been the hot thing, you know, a year ago. I think over time styles are going to change. Like the same things aren't always popular. You know, like, people might like Lululemon and then they're going to gravitate towards some other brand, and Lululemon could get left in the dust. And so I think companies like Lululemon investing in fashion brands like that is a very risky thing. Like, a very risky thing. And I've had this talk. People would argue with me about it, but, like, I think you got to look at it objectively. This isn't a company, like, this is a company I would swing trade, but I'm not going to necessarily want to hold it for the next 20 years. Hey, thanks not so boring. Thanks, man. Does Lulu have one of the best return policies? I don't know. It's like 30 days. Pretty standard. Anyways, Tesla bounced back up. It broke lows, bounced back up. The Q is at almost 441s, at 440.80s here. We're still looking at NVIDIA. Again, NVIDIA's been mostly flat for the last couple months, really. Hasn't really gone anywhere. It's had big range up and down, but it's been mostly flat. Yeah. And again, I live in a family of Lululemon, like, my daughter loves it. My wife loves it. You know, they buy me stuff. Like, I wear Lululemon shorts sometimes. I don't think I'm in it now. It might be. I don't know whose shorts I'm in right now. But Lululemon, point is, Lululemon's taking a dive from highs. You know, taking a dive. I don't know why. Maybe it's earnings related, but like they've dove. Like, here's a yearly chart. They went from very green on the year to actually now they're technically red over the last 52 weeks. It's a big turnaround for Lululemon. Big turnaround, you know. Do y'all think it bounces back is a question. And I don't know. Tesla cracks 160 is going to get more bearish. I don't know. I tend to be kind of the opposite mindset, where if Tesla cracks 160, it's probably kind of extended on the downside, and I think it might bounce back. Hard to make a profit in flooded market. Products that are easy for others to copy is a hard business. Yeah, I mean, again, to be fair, I gave this argument for Lululemon a year ago. I told people the same argument. I had this one guy who would really always push it and argue about it, and then when it was over 500s, he would be like, Lululemon. But, like, you know, crickets on it now, I think. Again, it's just something that is pretty easy to see. And again, my argument was always this, right? Like, my argument was always the same thing, which is that they make tons of money, right? They are a money-making machine short term, right? Long term, they're vulnerable to competition. They're vulnerable to trend changes. You know, so am I going to invest in them for 20 years? Of course not. You know, again, a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people argue for things just to argue. But again, I think I was right, and I think I'm going to continue to be right. Again, like the main reason I'm like this is because, again, we can do a thought experiment, right? Imagine what was big and popular in the year 2000, right? What fashion brands, Limited Too. I remember my sister shopping at Limited Too a lot. Like, fashion brands, you know, were popular. Think about, like, which ones were big, like clothes brands specifically, not shoes, because shoes can be resilient to this type of stuff, but like specifically clothes. And then think about what was popular then versus what's popular now. You had like a lot of American Eagle, Hollister, both mostly dead companies now. Like, nobody goes to American Eagle or Hollister anymore like that. Like, they might have small amount of sales. It's definitely not what it was. You know, you could also think of, like, again, like places in the mall like Limited Too. Like, there's all these different places that are no longer around anymore. They're just, again, they were part of the culture, and the cultural impact of them was big. But after a certain point, new generations sprout up, and new generations don't want to use the same clothes the previous generations wore, right? That's very consistent. And so companies like Lululemon, they've got a chance. Again, if they establish themselves as a legacy fashion brand like Nike or Reebok, they've got a chance. But even those, like, those are vulnerable too, you know. Jinkos, yeah. Hey. Yeah, so Abercrombie & Fitch came back, but their stock is mostly what came back. Like, nobody's ever really in the stores that I can see, you know. So, like, they're back, technically, in stock price. But in terms of customer base, I still think they're pretty small. Yeah, Champions. Champion is big, right? I wear Champion clothes still. But again, that's a legacy brand, right? So if so again, it would have to be something like they established themselves as a legacy brand, and I think they were just too inflated. I think they were too up. They're too expensive. the price of the stock is. SPY is down a little bit, I believe, today, right? So here's the SPY. SPY's down to 510s. Reasonable pullback. I think it's had a big run, you know. So now it's back up to 513s. Okay, so I was wrong. The SPY is actually technically green on the day. Yeah, malls are looking less and less interesting, you know. All right, chat. I'm gonna start getting ready to day trade. Tesla just broke lows. It's at 168.80s here. 168.80s. Yeah, so Under Armour fell off hard, but then they also had a big like resurgence. I wear a lot of Under Armour stuff, Pawn. So Under Armour fell off, but then if you go to like Dick's Sports or somewhere, they're back. Like you see a lot of Under Armour stuff again too. So they fell off and then they had a kind of a resurgence. Their stock price is doing rough though. But again, it kind of shows you the swings that fashion brands can have and why it's risky to invest in them long term. You know. All right, chat. All right, so again, SPY up to 513.20s. All right, so we're going to get ready to day trade. I'm going to put the quant tower on Apex up. Again, we got retail sales dropping in a little bit over an hour. Nice. We got Quant Tower up. Let's pull it up here. Okay, so we're in. And again, we're very green in this account. We're just trying to build it up for our first withdrawal. And so we're just kind of taking that slow and steady, I think. You know, the way I've been trading it works, where it's been a lot of choppiness, though. Like, the market has been flat a lot. Like, so again, even today on the NASDAQ, you can kind of see, and the NASDAQ has better liquidity in futures than it does in stocks. But like, even here, let me try pushing this to the side. Even here, the NASDAQ looks kind of flat today. Now, granted, it's early ahead of economic reports, and so, you know, we zoom out, we got a little bit nicer of an upward trend here for sure. But again, over the past, like, 3 hours, it's been very neutral. Is the Q this flat? This is the NASDAQ. Let me see. Yeah, the Q is very flat over the last few hours. Interesting. Green day, though. We are gapping up today. We'll see if we hold. I'm going to put 2 charts up instead. And again, there's Tesla at 169. It's looking pretty weak. They had layoff news. Here's Nvidia. Nvidia at 890. Let's see if we can break 900. I think 900 in general is a psychological level that's important to pay attention to. So we're watching that as well. Yeah, I don't know about any of those brands, Sam, but it might be differences in Europe versus us. You know. My stonks are 2.5% plus today. Was expecting red today. Let's hope it continues to go up when market opens. Yeah, for sure. Again, it depends on what the economic data shows up, really. Like, it really depends on what the economic data shows up. All right, so again, we're flat. I kind of want to buy the dip, but again, we're so choppy. I was getting ready to day trade. I wanted to day trade, and I do want to day trade today, but the market's so flat. Unless I'm going to, like, buy the bottom of the range and cover towards the top, I just don't know if I'm interested in doing this. All right, let me check. Slow moving morning. Yeah, it's very flat. INDO oil stock. I see it moving up. Big range for INDO. All right, so look at the NASDAQ just test these highs. Look at it rip. So the NASDAQ 100 is breaking towards highs. Look at that INDO, which is an oil stock, I guess. I don't know much about it. It looks penny stock. It looks to be a penny stock. Up a lot the last couple weeks, but I just don't know if I'm interested in this one. Chat. CL pullback. Yeah, oil. Again, oil's had a really good week because of the instability overseas. Anytime there's instability overseas, typically oil does well. Look at that 10-day chart. We're green in oil, although we are pulling back a little bit since Friday. So we are pulling back a little bit since Friday. Not an advertisement? Yeah, I believe you. It's not an advertisement. I'm not really one to invest in small cap companies like this. They're just too small and risky for me personally. But again, I'm not judging you if it works out. I hope it works out for you. Look at the NASDAQ rip here. I'm not sure why. But the NASDAQ's popping up. If we look at the SPY, you can kind of see a similar thing here. SPY testing the top of that range. What's dragging this up? So again, there's the SPY. SPY looks very strong. Here's NVIDIA. It's not NVIDIA. Here's Apple. Not Apple. Here's Amazon. Amazon could be Amazon. Meta's moving up a little bit. Tesla is not it for sure. Microsoft. So it could be Amazon, maybe. Amazon's moving up. Oh, Goldman Sachs releases earnings. I forgot about Goldman Sachs. Yeah, Goldman Sachs just reported. That's what this is. Goldman Sachs is out 11.58 EPS. They expected 8.56. So 11.58 EPS. They expected 8.56. Revenue of 14.21. They expected 12.92. So this is Goldman earnings here. I forgot about Goldman, which is GS. They are ripping up really good earnings, following through all the way to 402s, 400s. So Goldman is ripping earnings up. So this is Goldman Sachs. Again, they're flying up right now on this report. The Q up to 441s as well. So this is Goldman Sachs. Again, you can see the earnings right below me. All right, so again, Goldman Sachs out. We're going to look at the rest of their numbers here, but Goldman Sachs helping the market right now, helping the market. I might buy this dip, take a small little beginner trade here, take maybe 2-3 contracts here, see if we get a nice little bounce, and then kind of play around with it short term. If we lose, we lose. It's all good. It's a small size trade. We'll take 4 contracts, leave it at that. If we dip a little bit more, we'll add some more to it. There we go. We're in 4 contracts. Flat on the trade. You can kind of see it right here. There we go. I like the price action. It looks good, but it also doesn't mean too much. All right, so we got the first little bounce. And now we're back down. But yeah, Goldman earnings coming through. Better than expected, looking solid. All right, now we're gonna have to cut this. It looks like just too big of a dip. It's too long-winded. If it takes too long to come back up. Yeah, we lost like 25 bucks. It's all right. All right, so yeah, Goldman Sachs Group posts Q1 net revenue of $14.21 billion. They expected almost $13 billion, a little bit better than expected there. Q1 GAAP EPS $11.58, beat $8.60 estimates. Sales came in at $14.21 again. First quarter net revenue came in at $4.62 billion. Efficiency ratio came in at almost 61%. Equities revenue came in at $3.31 billion, so they made about $3.5 billion from investment equities. First quarter FIC revenue $4.32 billion. Asset and wealth management revenue at $3.79 billion. Compensation and benefits expenses at $4.59 billion. So again, Doing really well for Goldman Sachs. They're popping up nice percentages here. They're up to about 403. They just broke highs of the day again for Goldman here. Highs of the day for Goldman. We also have another stock coming out today. Schwab specifically dropped. So Charles Schwab. Here's Schwab right here. I don't know if they're out with theirs yet. I don't necessarily see them. Yeah, so Schwab isn't out yet. So again, Goldman first quarter banking and markets revenue up 15% year over year. Investment banking revenue up 32% year over year. We'll put this up in chat as well. Currency and commodities revenue up 10%. Equities revenue up 10% as well. So here's Goldman's numbers. I'm going to buy this dip again. 4 contracts. There we go. Boom. All right, so we capitalized on this trade. We got 1 contract left. Scalping it, but you know, we're about $15 down on the day, so we can let the last little share ride here a little bit. I like the bounce level into the support. Maybe should have been a little bit more patient on the last trade. We'll cut the rest of this and get out flat on the rest. Made a little bit there. Yeah, I heard that. Comma. I did hear that. All right, we got about an hour. All right, so again, we're down to the support level here. We'll see if we actually hold. All right, so we did get a bounce at the support, but I'm going to wait here. Again, we also have Schwab earnings coming out sometimes too. Charles Schwab earnings is supposed to release sometime here. All right, so we did get a nice little bounce up at that support level. Again, we're waiting here. All right, so we pop it back up. Again, still very much sideways action. Schwab doesn't look like it came out with anything yet, so we just got to keep waiting. All right, so we have ECB members speaking here. Global banking markets revenue 9.3 or 9.73 billion. What is your position on what? When do you guys think we're going to cut rates? Yeah, what are treasury yields at? TNX isn't working. And again, if you haven't already, check out my sponsor, Apex. Apex is a funded account program. So what you see me doing here is day trading the futures market. And a lot of people don't realize this. Like, a lot of people hear futures and they don't understand what they really are. The futures market allows you to day trade, no PDT restrictions, right? And you can't day trade individual stocks, but what you can day trade is index funds. You can trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, basically the QQQ and SPY price action. No PDT rule. You can day trade gold, a bunch of other stuff too. Again, no PDT rule. Great way to learn day trading as well, because these funded account programs like Apex are allowed. And what they do is they give you a demo, they test your skill with that demo account, they give you a profit target, a max loss, all that good stuff. And if you can hit the profit target without hitting the max loss, Apex funds you between 25K up to 300K with a 90% split. And again, this is one of the most legit funded programs in the world. They've paid out over $100 million. So again, one of the most legit in the world. They paid out 25 mil plus last month. And the best part is that if you lose, your risk is limited. It's a lot cheaper than putting the money up yourself for most people, because again, most people when they first get started day trading, they put up 3,000-4,000. They lose their entire account. They're down thousands very quickly. This allows you to really limit your risk. You're still learning how to trade under pressure, all that good stuff. But if you lose, the base one is like 30 or 35 bucks, right? So you're still risking something, just not as much. And if you pass it, again, similar reward to putting the money up yourself. 90% split, you get to keep your first 25K in profit. So it's just a great builder of skill, learning how to trade under pressure in the beginning. And again, if you want to check it out, I'm super biased in their favor because they pay me money. You know, they're a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased. But if you want to use my promo code and help support the channel, BT is the coupon code, BT. You can check out the link right there and use my coupon code. Get the max discount. It's 80% off right now. And it's a one-day pass. Yeah, so the NASDAQ bouncing back up. But again, even it's at the top of the range now, but it's still kind of sideways, I think. Yeah, I get people asking me all these ridiculous questions. I can bring up any stock. Should I buy this stock? Should I buy ABC? Should I buy, will the Fed raise rates? You know, what's the retail sales number coming out, John? What does CPI show? What is CPI going to show, John? Is the market going to go up or down from CPI? You know, like, these are things nobody freaking knows, you know? That's like asking me, hey, John, what's the lottery numbers tomorrow? I have no freaking idea. Why are you asking me that? You know? Yeah, where's Bitcoin at right now? I know Bitcoin at 60, all the way down to 66. Hit 63s at some point early this morning. Interesting. Has the market crashed today yet? No, not yet. I'm telling you, dude, these filters need to stop. Yeah, Bitcoin down a little bit. The halving's coming up soon. So the halving is going to be on Friday. Or no, Saturday is the halving date. So we'll see what that looks like too. Oh, great fortune teller John. What is thy options, YOLO? I should do to make $1 million? I don't know, dude. It's true, John. Yeah, I mean, it gets really bad on the big economic releases. Like, you get CPI or FOMC meeting or whatever, earnings. It gets really bad. The buy gold people show up and just say buy gold, sell gold. All right, guys, we're still waiting on SCHW earnings to drop. They're supposed to drop sometimes today. Wells Fargo came out. Wait. Wells Fargo is not supposed to drop this morning. Yeah, Wells Fargo is not out. I'm looking for... Schwab was set to drop early this morning, but it's not out yet. M&T came out early this morning. I think they had bad results, though. But again, Goldman Sachs up to 402s, over 402s. And we are testing the top of the range here on the Nasdaq, so we're looking strong enough. We got retail sales coming out today as well, chat. Retail sales. Testing the top of this range. Look at this. We're breaking highs right now. Or they're testing highs, I should say. So Schwab not out with that. If y'all see it out, let me know. But it's just not out yet. Nvidia here at 891s. Again, the Nasdaq breaking highs right now. So Nasdaq just broke highs of the day, it looks like. Yep. Nasdaq just broke highs of the day up to 1827 or 297 for the Nasdaq here. Binary options have got to be the scammiest thing ever. I see this guy's name. And look, I'm not here to judge. If you can make money on binary options, fine. Binary options, the problem with them is that the risk-reward ratio is bad, right? Like, I always try to discourage people from trading them. They'll be like, hey, look how easy we make it, guys. Look how easy we make it. All you got to do is select yes or no, and you could get rich with binary options. It's a total scam. Like, your risk-reward ratio... If you risk $100, if you win, you make 85. If you lose 100. Your risk reward ratio is consistently worse than 1-to-1. It's the worst thing you can do. It's the worst thing you can do. Again, it's just scamming naive traders is what it is. Specifically binary options. What's up, Kimberly? Good morning. Well, all right, so we broke highs. We'll pull it back a little bit. 2 up there for me to buy it, though. We'll wait. We're down a little bit, I think, day trading today. Yeah, but then the probabilities are so skewed against you that it's not worth it, right? So if they do give you a 1-to-4 risk-reward ratio, then, again, the probabilities that you're going to hit that trade are probably like 1 in 6, 1 in 7, so they're going to make their money in the end. And that's the problem, is that they put everything like that. Like, you consistently have bad odds on those platforms, unfortunately. And that's intentional, All right, chat. All right, Chad, we got about 600 people here live. We still got 45 minutes here. I kind of want to buy this dip. I guess I will buy the dip. All right, we're going to buy the dip. We're testing the top of that range. We're going to try to scale into it with 4 to 6 contracts, which has kind of been my sweet spot with size lately. I like the risk. It's not super bad. We didn't get a chance to add our last little position, but that's okay. So we got 4 contracts here. Oh, just getting ran down on here. I'm not going to add any more to this. This looks too weak. I could fix my average here, but it looks too much like a double top. I'm just going to go ahead and get out there. We lost a little bit. We lost like 15 bucks. I just want to keep my losses small if I take them. I probably could have made money actually with that big of a rebound here. Look at Nvidia fall though. So this is why I'm getting out. It's like look at Nvidia down to 889s here looking weak. Goldman looks like it wants to break highs again as well. So Andrew, this is futures. This is the NASDAQ 100 futures contract. So, you know, this is the QQQ price action in futures. So I'm day trading the Q basically in futures. Yeah, I mean that was like a $15 loss. It's not the end of the world. We're very green on this account. We're down like 30 bucks today. So we still got a lot of time to make our money back. And it looks like cutting it was a good move because look how much we flushed down here. It just I liked it because we slightly broke highs and then we pulled back enough to where we could get a bounce, but it's not worth playing with it. Again, Nvidia breaking down under the VWAP is you know, a cause for me to be careful. So go short. It's not that easy. You got to wait for good. Again, I'm very green in this account, right? Like we've had a very nice account growth in this funded account. This is a 50K funded account, right? So, you know, we've had really nice account growth, you know, in this account so far. I won't show you how much I'm up or down, but I'll show you my graph, right? So I'm not going to show you how much I'm up or down, but I will show you my graph here in this account. It is pretty nice. I think it looks good, you know. Let me make sure I can get this out of the way so you guys can't. Yeah. All right, so here's my graph. This is my graph over the last like couple weeks, right? So this is my monthly graph actually. Let me get this out of the way. So yeah, this is my graph over the last month. All right, so this is a monthly graph. So the last 30 days of account growth in this account. Let me mute this, make sure there's no way. Okay, yeah, so this is the last 30 days of account growth in this account. So again, like we've got really nice, really good gains. We've been a little stagnant for the last week, but that's okay. We haven't lost anything major. And yeah, we've been doing pretty good. So we're going to keep trying to grow it, build up the profit, you know. So yeah, not a bad little growth here. We had some opening struggles where we first started to grow this account, lost a little bit, but very quickly made it back, started grinding it up some. Again, the market's been a little flat lately, so. Yeah. Yeah, we're just kind of slow and steady. Again, I've never been one that tries to make crazy, like, unreasonable gains. I always try to make it slow and steady. Again, I always tell people this, like, I don't necessarily need to get funded in any account, right? Like, my Thinkorswim account's got 70,000 plus in it. And so I really don't need to get funded at all. You know, and so I kind of mirror how I trade my normal account. Like, I'm trading with real money in my TOS account. I don't like risking it at all. I don't like playing with it. Like, I'm not trying to, I don't care how much. I would rather just be slow and steady and safe in terms of gains instead of taking crazy big risks that might be a little bit easier to market. I'd rather just slow and steady. And again, I'm not even claiming to be a good trader. I'm not even claiming to be a profitable trader or anything like that. You know, so. Not an investment professional. Top 3 worst traders of all time ever in the world. Microsoft testing 425s right now. Goldman at 403.80s here. Nvidia at 889s. And so we're watching that as well. Try to be patient here. And give it some time, you know. All right, so consolidating now. Look, so we are consolidating again. Did SCHY come out yet with their earnings? I'm still waiting for them to drop. It doesn't look like they're supposed to drop this morning, but they're not out yet. They're supposed to drop at 7:30. So we'll wait, I guess. Again, retail sales data drops in New York. Empire State Manufacturing Index drops 8:30. So we got time, chat. We got time. Are we really getting that many trolls here? What a bunch of weird people, dude. You know? I'm gonna ban them just because they're bots, right? Like, if we got bots showing up, I don't know who's real and who's not. But if you're if somebody's sending me bots, I gotta just ban them, you know? Bots. You know, weird. Retail betting on a crash? Nah, man, we're not gonna crash. This economic report is not big enough for a crash, really. How can someone tell if it's a person or a bot? Well, we know it's a bot, Martina, because 3 different people came in at the same time and posted verbatim the exact same thing within about a 5 to 10 second period, you know. So like, we know those are botted. Like, the people are botting. They're sending different usernames out to say the same thing, you know. Yeah, I'm not banning anybody else but the bots, guys. Y'all are fine. Again, they said exactly the same thing, you know, in different names over and over again. So we're going to ban them. It doesn't even matter what they say. They could have said, hey, you know, John, you're cool. And we would have still banned them, you know. Yeah, they're banned already, Pawn. I don't know if they were. I don't know where they were from. Again, Google over 160s looks very good. I've been in Google. We added a little bit more to it last week. We're green today. Again, Friday was a red day. Gold is doing really well, so gold's pushing up some. Yeah, I'm just looking for oil to make some moves based off of the stuff going on overseas. Oil is interesting enough to watch. Yeah, there's volatility there. You just got to be careful. Econ. SPY 600 in the end of the year. I hope so, man. I hope the market rips up that much. I mean, that'll be really nice for all of us. It's over 5. It's been over 5 for a while. I remember when people thought the SPY breaking 400 was crazy. This wasn't that long ago either. Like, not too long ago, the SPY breaking 400 was crazy. You know, like last year, the year before last, when the SPY broke 400, everybody said it would never hold. You know, that it was up too much and all this stuff. Yeah, Tesla layoff news, which is surprising. A lot of the news for layoffs helped stocks go up, and so Tesla dropping from this news is interesting. I think a lot of companies in tech reported layoffs in the last few years, and they actually had a positive reaction because of those layoff news. So it's interesting to see Tesla react negatively. I need your experiences. If I am down on some trades 20%, would it be better to sell and get the lost money back in day trading, or would you wait? Very general question, but how do you act mostly? I'm going to preface this with, Andre, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. I am not giving you investment advice. I really have no idea, and you got to be liable for your own losses here. Please do not copy what I'm about to say. Please don't base any trades on what I'm about to say, all that good stuff. I'm not an investment professional. Essentially, guys, I am terrible. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe wildly wrong. I trade off stream. Do not copy me, all that good stuff. Understand CFTC 4.41, hypothetical simulated performance results of certain limitations and all that good stuff. Now, with all that said and out the way, all right, it depends on what kind of stock it is. Okay, so like my strategy with blue chips is that I will buy a blue chip stock, and if I'm wrong, I'll just kind of sit in it, because most of the time, eventually, it's going to at least come back to zero. IBM had a big fall from grace, but even it is green over the last 20 or 30 years, and so time heals a lot of wounds in blue chips. And if you're wrong in blue chip stocks, most of the time, stocks are going to come back eventually. Not always, and you are going to get outliers that do not come back, and those can really hurt your portfolio if you're wrong about those, right? If it's penny stocks, you're almost certain, the longer you hold a penny stock, in terms of just generally looking at penny stocks, the longer you hold them, the worse they are, the less you are to make money, the less likely you are to make money. Again, it's not definitive though. It varies, there's outliers, all that good stuff. So I guess the point is, it depends on what it is. For me, if I'm down 20% in a blue chip, I'm usually just about to wait. Unless like I got out of Boeing not too long ago just because it was really, really volatile and risky. So I play each stock differently, but in general, if it's a healthy blue chip company, that's a big company that pulled back, I'm usually willing to sit on it. But that's just me, and if you do that, there can be massive risks. Of course, they can keep on dropping. If it's a penny stock, you're probably not going to make money on it, with the exception of like if you get lucky and you get caught in a pump and dump. Yeah, I mean, MicroStrategy is definitely different than all of these other ones, Andre, just because, like, in theory, Bitcoin should go up over time, right? In theory, Bitcoin should go up over time, but MicroStrategy is up a lot, right? But I think those are the swings that, like, if you're a real believer in MicroStrategy, you got to just be ready for them. I have no idea. MicroStrategy could dump under 1,000 tomorrow, for all I know. So, again, no idea there. I like to just invest in Bitcoin specifically instead of Bitcoin stocks. It's just easier to gauge, I think. All right, so did SCHW come out. SCHW earnings, Charles Schwab earnings are out. They came in at 74-cent profit versus 73 cents expected. Revenue of 4.74 bill. They expected 4.71, so slightly better than expected everywhere. You can see the numbers right here. Slightly better than expected everywhere. We'll see if the stock reacted to it. Probably negative reaction, I'm assuming. Okay, so yeah, they initially reacted down. They're back up to 70 plus, so they're flat now. Yeah, so we do have some earnings this week as well. Specifically, look, we got so this evening, we don't really have anything big. Tomorrow, we've got Bank of America, United Health, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, Bank of New York, PNC, Northern Trust, Mercantile Bank, Ericsson, Commerce Bank, and a bunch of other ones tomorrow morning. So a lot of stuff tomorrow morning. In the evening tomorrow, we have United Airlines, IB, JB Hunt, Hancock Whitney, and some others. Wednesday morning, we got Abbott, ASML, Prologis, Travelers, U.S. Bank. Wednesday evening, we've got Alcoa, Las Vegas Sands, Kinder Morgan, CSX, Discover, SL Green, a couple other ones. Thursday, before the open, you got Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, TSM. That's probably a big one. We got Nokia, a couple other stuff. And then Thursday evening, you got Netflix, which is probably one of the bigger earnings of the week. And then next week, we got Tesla. We've got a bunch of stuff. Meta earnings, I believe, next week as well. So we'll see what happens. We're getting choppiness. I don't know how big of a release retail sales is going to be, but we got some interest here. We got over 700 people here already. We still got 30 minutes before these numbers show up, so. All right, guys, so we are up on the NASDAQ to 18.295. So, again, the NASDAQ spiking up a little bit here. All right, so the ECB's Lane says there's been much less progress in relation to domestic inflation compared to broader inflation measures, reflecting the higher sensitivity of domestic inflation to local cost pressures. Yeah, so Tesla's going to lay off 15,000 of its employees, according to an internal memo. Largest layoff in Tesla's history. All right, still kind of consolidating. Look at Goldman Sachs here. So again, Schwab's really not moving much. 889.50s or so for Nvidia here. We got Goldman up to 405. So Goldman just broke highs again. I'm not sure how much it's going to drag markets up, but yeah. Yeah, so I'm seeing this person post on social media. She said, quote, "I am nearly 27 years old, and today I'm moving back in with my parents. This is not the plan I had for 27-year-old me, but that's just how bad the rental crisis is at the moment." Honestly, I don't even judge anybody. Like, I think we should stop shaming people if their parents allow them to move back in with them. You know, like, historically, people lived with their parents their whole life, you know, unless they're married. And then sometimes there as well. I mean, living with your parents while you're married can destroy marriages, right? That's a different thing. But if you're single and you're trying to budget money, live with your parents. Who cares who criticizes you for it? Like, do what you got to do, man. You know, like, things are expensive right now. Housing is expensive in general, you know? So if you got to live with your parents, do your thing, you know? I don't think we can judge anybody for it. You know what I mean? I think that should be something that should be understandable. Right, for sure. Yeah, it does take time. Again, it depends, with the exception of, like, if you're married, especially if you have, like, really intrusive, smothering parents, that can hurt marriages without question, you know. And I think sometimes parents, like, they don't want to let go and, like, accept the fact that their kids are grown, so they just kind of keep on, you know. But at the same time, like, standard-wise throughout history, people allowed, like, that's something that happened too. You know, this thing in baseball where people get mad about bat flips, like, cry me a freaking river. Oh no, he flipped his bat. Like, get out of here, bro. Stop crying. Like, they complain about baseball and entertainment and baseball numbers, like, losing steam. Like, they're losing steam because you want everything. Like, let people flip their bat. You know, like, I'm a pro bat flipper person. Like, if somebody hits a home run, let them flip their bat, man. Crying about it like it's some golden rule. You can't flip your bat. It's just ridiculous, man. Stop being a baby about it and let people flip their bat if they want to flip their bat. Google at 160s right now, chat. Google at 160s. Hey, man. How you doing, bud? Okay. Love you, bud. Mm-hmm. How you feel today? You feeling good? Mm-hmm. Good, man. All right. Have a great day at school, buddy. Thanks, buddy. Love you, man. Thanks, dude. Have a good day, bud. Love you. All right. Good kid, man. Really, really sweet kid. Really nice kid, you know. Baseball will become football with taunts and stuff like that. Listen, it makes it more exciting. Like, it's a business, you know. Like, again, let them flip the bat, you know. Like, again, crying over a bat flip, like, it gives each thing its own personal style, right? Like, it's not taunting, it's like celebrating. Let them celebrate, you know. Like, not allowing, I'm for like, let them use sticky stuff. Let pitchers use sticky stuff as well. I'm for that too. That's been allowed for the last, like, 40 years, even though technically it's been a rule. You know, technically it's like you can't use sticky stuff, but every pitcher has been using it for decades, really a century. So just now changing that rule. It's really Trevor Bauer did it, but, like, you know, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Bitcoin halving? Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's been running up a lot in anticipation of it. Miners are, I'm interested to see the correlation with miners. Yeah, we talked about the UFC super early. Man, Alex Pereira, just a beast, man. Max Holloway, you know, really fun fight. Really fun, exciting end to that fight, man. All right, chat. We got 20 minutes here. 20 minutes before retail sales data comes out. Again, retail sales expected at 0.5% for core retail sales. Base retail sales expected at 0.3%. Other places have it at 0.4%. So, yeah, retail sales 0.4, 0.5, respectively. We got the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index expected at minus 5.2, minus 5.2. Both of these data releases drop at 8:30. We will put them up on screen. This is the report. This is what to expect. We will see what we get. I don't know if we're going to get a big news from this. UFC is a lot more entertaining in my opinion. But again, it probably, like, I've always liked MMA. MMA is more fun than just kickboxing. Kickboxing gets really, like, boring quickly, right? Like, it gets really boring quickly. But, like, I also do jiu-jitsu a little bit. I'm a white belt, but, like, I do jiu-jitsu and train jiu-jitsu a little bit too. So, like, understanding what's going on helps, I think, if you're watching it. Big move coming. I don't know. Retail sales is not a crazy big release. Usually it's kind of mixed with something else, but it'll at least have some influence here. It'll at least have some influence. We'll see. Again, Nvidia over the 200 EMA. It's right over it. Goldman Sachs dropping earnings today. We also had Schwab earnings. We also had M&T Bank earnings coming out. So. Nvidia gapped up. Why? I think most of the tech gap ups had to do with just a big, we had a very big decrease in most tech stocks Friday. And so I think a lot of them were just down a lot Friday and they were bouncing back based off of extension, I think is what it is. Grappling is only good in 1 versus 1. Well, anything's only really good in 1 versus 1. I mean, like, you could strike in 1 versus 1. And again, most fights are one-on-one, you know. As long as you're not doing Aikido, I can respect it. I think striking's obviously good. Muay Thai's good. Boxing's good. As long as it's not like, as long as you're trying. Aikido has a lot of people sold on it like it's some great martial art. It's mostly been marketing from Steven Seagal and people like it. It's a worthless martial art that doesn't teach you really anything. You know, it's just nonsense. So you got some people that got sold on that when they were young. And, you know, the thing you respect about jiu-jitsu is that, like, if you want to earn your blue belt in jiu-jitsu, it takes years to learn how to do that, right? Like karate, you'll get a new belt every couple of months, right? So it's like a black belt in karate, much less skilled than a black belt in jiu-jitsu, like realistically. And with Aikido and other stuff like that, it's just a more diluted martial art. Like jiu-jitsu, you got to earn it. It takes a decade to become a black belt. It's not something that you're going to get in a few years like a lot of people give karate belts and stuff like that. Anyways, Goldman Sachs testing highs again at 406. Do you have black belt aspirations? I mean, I don't think I'll ever. I would love to have one, of course, but I just want my blue belt, realistically. Like, I just want my blue belt. I'm getting close to, I think, but thoughts on so TSM has earnings later this week, right? So TSM has earnings. It'll be fun to watch. Microchip implications. So we'll see. What's the biggest differences between BJJ and judo? Well, judo is a throwing martial art, so it's mostly how to throw people, how to take down people, I guess is the easier way to put it, mixed with some submissions like arm bars and stuff like that. But it's a very, you don't have much time to do them, right? So it's a very limited submission aspect of judo. It's mostly takedowns. Jiu-jitsu is mostly the opposite. It's mostly ground games with some takedowns, but it's mostly like what happens once you hit the ground. All right, chat. Again, we got about 800 people here live. Goldman up to 406, still testing highs. Nvidia now under the 200 EMA. Under the 200 EMA. What do you think about Gaethje getting knocked out? I thought you know, people were so mad. They were like, oh, the only reason Max won is because he taunted Gaethje into swinging. Like, bro, Gaethje broke his nose in the first round, and he was losing every round of that fight, right? So the only chance that Gaethje really had was that last 10 seconds. Like, Max Holloway was actually doing Gaethje a favor in that last 10 seconds. He was giving him a way to win, you know, and it didn't fall in his way. He ended up getting KO'd, but, you know, he had a shot. That was his only chance to win because, again, he was losing every round of that fight. So he'll be back. He'll be fine. How do you feel about the news? I think it'll be interesting to see how this data affects inflation expectations, rate cut expectations this year. You know, right now, most people are not expecting a rate cut until like September. If we look at the CME Watch tool and we look at how many people are expecting cuts, most people aren't expecting a cut until at least December, and this changed, right? So in December, we got about 45% of people expecting a 25 basis point cut. This actually changed. Originally, it was June, right? But if we look at June, still very probable that we're going to end up pausing again. Same thing with July, more probable that we're going to pause, although we got about 40% chance of a cut in July. September, we got about 45% chance of a cut. November, you know, same thing. So we're not expecting cuts until September here, chat. September. So we got 13 minutes, chat. 13 minutes. Yeah, honestly, right now I like being a white belt, Eric. I'm not gonna say I'm sandbagging or anything like that. But I think I'm a solid white belt. Like usually, you know, I've only been tapped out by another white belt at my gym once over the past like 6 months, right? And I go pretty regularly, you know, so I think I'm a good white belt. But again, maybe it's just my ego, you know. But I'm competitive with the other blue belts that I roll against. Like when I roll against the blue belt, it's usually pretty competitive. And I have tapped blue belts and brown belts and purple belts and stuff like that. So I don't mind being a white belt right now because I think it gives me a little bit more edge, you know. Look at the market break highs. Market breaks highs right now. So NASDAQ just ripped up over highs. I'm trying to see what stock. I think it's NVIDIA. NVIDIA just bumped up to 89.50s. Here's the Q. Q up to 441s. But I've only been doing, like, I haven't been doing it for that long, though. And so, like, typically it takes years to get a blue belt. Some people can get it early, though, but Google at 160.50s. Alright, so again, we're pulling back. We broke highs. Again, NVIDIA ripped up to the VWAP. Maybe not rip is the best word for it. Now we're kind of pulling right back down here. So we got about 10 minutes, chat, 10 minutes. Based means that objective. Based is a slang term for objective. Right? Or like reasonable. Based means reasonable or objective, you know. Google at 160.50s. What do you think society will say in 100 years about people getting beat up in sport? I mean, I think it's always been a sport. It'll always be a sport, you know. I don't think they're going to say anything negative about it. I think it's always been that way. You know, if you think boxing is any better, again, boxing is much worse. And I think, you know, I think it's always been a sport. It'll always be a sport, to be honest, you know. Microsoft bouncing up a little bit today. Not super volatile. Google breaking highs again, though, at 160.50s here. Again, here's the Q. Here's NVIDIA. NVIDIA now under the 200 EMA. What's dragging this up? Is it Apple? Let me see. Yeah, so Apple's up a little bit. Yeah, well, boxing's actually a lot more dangerous, and I'll tell you why. Somebody gets knocked down in boxing, right? Somebody gets concussed in boxing,
right? Half the time they stand them back up, let them get punched right, like again. They stand them up over and over and over again. In MMA, somebody gets KO'd, they're down, they're done, right? Like they're not going to get back up. They're not going to count to 10, let them stand back up, and then get hit again, you know. And so in that regard, boxing's much more dangerous, you know. Nothing's without risk, but like again, we are watching Nvidia here. We're watching the Q. We're watching the Nasdaq. I'm looking at Meta. I'm looking at Amazon. Amazon was up a lot today as well. We got retail sales data dropping in about 8 minutes. Again, retail sales expected at 0.4% for base retail sales. Core retail sales expected at 0.5% month over month. So, and again, if you don't know what retail sales really is, it's the aggregate value of sales at the retail level is what we're looking at. So the aggregate value of sales at retail level. What it shows you is consumer spending. You know, which is most of economic activity is consumer spending, right? So this is gauging consumer spending at the retail level. Very interesting. So higher than expected retail sales might signal worse inflation problems. So more retail sales means more inflation, right? More people that spend, more prices go up. And that's the gauge we need to look at this under. So I think it might be something where higher retail sales makes the market react negatively for it. Although, I'm really just speculating here. I don't know for sure. You never know what the market's going to do. But I do think it could be something in which more retail sales makes the market react negatively. What do you guys think? Do you think the market's going to react good or bad to higher retail sales? So we'll put this up on screen again. I'm going to put, so here's NVIDIA. I'm going to put the SPY up instead because the QQQ is the same thing as the NASDAQ 100. So there's the SPY. SPY looking a little less strong than tech heavy Q. Good. Good day to you, sir. So Goldman Sachs reported earnings today better than expected. They gapped up some from it. All right, here we go, chat. We got 6 minutes. We got about 900 people here live. Not a bad show up for retail sales, huh? We got about 6 minutes left, though, chat. Amazon breaking high, so it's dragging tech up, too, with it. Let's do a poll. Yeah, so that's a good idea. What do we do? Let's see. Here, we'll do a quick 6 minutes poll. Does the market want higher or lower retail sales data? Higher, lower. It's a good question. Basically, will the market react good or bad to the higher retail sales data? I think it'll react negatively to higher retail sales. I think it'll signal more inflation problems, signal less likelihood of rate cuts, which might in turn react negatively to the have a negative reaction in markets. Complete beginner here. Where do you recommend I start for education? YouTube. You know, don't pay for a course. You'll have people trying to sell you courses that just claim that if you take their course, you're going to be an expert. It takes time and experience. No course is going to get you there. You can find most of the stuff in those courses available for free on the internet as well. You know. All right, chat. We got 5 minutes here, team. 5 minutes. How would the dollar index react? I'm not sure. Microsoft trying. All right, chat. 3.5 minutes here. 3.5 minutes. Time is coming here, chat. Time is coming. Mark Cuban about to pay the IRS $288 million. What a tax bill, man. And I get mad about my taxes, too. I'm sure he's heated. He can claim he's not, and nobody likes to send the IRS $300 million. All right, chat. Here we go. We got 2.5 minutes. It's time. Yeah. Paper trade. Yeah, for sure. I think it's good to pay for a mentorship than a course. Yeah, but I disagree. I don't know. I think both of them are not good things for beginners to do. I think you can find most stuff available for free. You don't need to, you just don't need to, like, spend thousands of dollars on a mentorship program or a course in the beginning. Like, and a lot of new traders, they think they're going to get rich, and so they're so desperate to get rich that, like, they shill out the money for it, but it's just a bad idea, I think. Yeah. All right, chat. We got a minute left. 1 minute left until retail sales day. Let's do this. Any guesses for what this is going to be? Any guesses? Again, retail sales expected at, again, core expected at 0.5. Base expected at 0.4. So, let's see what we get. It's time. Less than a minute. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream chat. We appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, the people who end up falling for these mentorships are usually the people who are going to push you to do the same thing, because misery loves company, and, like, they're desperate to justify it in their head. So they kind of try to talk you into it. Kind of like a multi-level marketing scheme almost. You know, it's kind of the way I describe it. Anyways, we also have New York Empire State Manufacturing Index minus 5.2. Minus 5.2 is what's expected at. We put it in sub-only mode, so sub if you haven't yet. We appreciate it. All right, and here's the report. Let's see what kind of volatility we get. We're starting to move a little bit here. Let's see. All right, and there we go. Look at the big dip here. So again, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came in at minus 14.3. Minus 14.3 for the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, and this is dumping the market down quickly. Look at this drop here. Retail sales came in at 1.1% for core. Regular came in at 0.7. All higher than expected retail sales data. Higher than expected everywhere. Core came in at 1.1 versus 0.5. Regular came in at 0.7 versus 0.4. So higher than expected retail sales data. Way worse than expected New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. So much more weakness in manufacturing, which is probably good for inflation, but retail sales data came in much higher than expected. And this is causing the market to react negatively. Again, higher retail sales data than expected. Market is reacting negatively here. Core came in at 1.1 versus 0.4%. 1.1 versus 0.4, or 1.1 versus 0.5%. And then regular came in at 0.7. So again, worse than expected, higher than expected. And again, I told you guys the market would probably react this way, chat. So I told you guys the market would probably react this way. Why? Because it fears inflation, right? So higher retail sales means what? More inflation problems. We also had the New York State Manufacturing Index come out worse than expected for manufacturing here. We'll put this data up on screen. But yeah, here is the report. And again, we thought we would react this way. Again, it means more inflation problems, right? So again, that's kind of what happened today. More inflation problems. How do we know this? Because a lot of people don't understand, right? So a lot of people go with convention, right? So a lot of people that don't understand, they say, oh, well, higher retail sales is better for the economy. So they automatically think that's what the market wants. That's not what the market wants a lot of the time. A lot of the time, the market wants the opposite because it pushes inflation down. And if inflation is sticky, it fears economic growth. So that's kind of what we've got right now. Again, at the same time, sometimes the first move can be the wrong move. And so sometimes we can make a big move to the downside and then rebound right back here. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. All right, chat. And again, if you haven't already, check out Apex. We'll probably, let me short this a little bit. We're going to take one contract here and just play with this on this economic data and just get punished, it looks like here. My fault, I guess. But if you want to day trade and lose money like this, again, it's a lot cheaper to lose it here than to put up the money myself. Yeah, we're going to cut that. Man, market just ripped up in my face. We lost like 30 bucks, so we're okay. But again, if you want to day trade in futures, there's no PDT rule. I'm basically day trading the QQQ. You can see how similar it is to the SPY. I could also day trade the SPY price action, what's called the E-mini in futures. There's no PDT rule in futures. I can day trade short. You see I buy market, sell market. Very similar to day trading stocks. There's just no PDT, and Apex is one of the most legit funded programs in the world. They give you a demo. They test your skill with the demo first. Base one is $25K. It's 30 or 35 bucks if you use my link and my coupon code, and they'll give you a demo. You got to make $1,500 in profit without losing $1,500 first. If you can do that, they fund you 25K with a 90% split. So, if you make 10K, you get to keep 9 of that. You also get to keep your first 25,000 in profit, I think is what it is. And the best part is that if you lose, you're only out 35 bucks for the base one. This is a 50K funded account, so it cost me like $35, I think. And again, if you want to check it out, they've paid out over 100 million. Great way to help support the channel. If you haven't already, you can check them out. Again, a great way to help support the channel, and really a great way to day trade if you want to learn without risking too much. Your risk is limited. If you lose, you're out 30 bucks for the base one. But if you pass it, 90% split, very similar. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Great way to help support the channel. Use my coupon code BT, beginner trading BT, all one word. They are a sponsor of mine. I'm biased because they pay me money. So check them out right there, guys. We appreciate it. Understand my bias and CFTC 4.41. Fed Williams is speaking right now. They're saying consumer spending has been strong, tailwinds from supply side of the economy. They say, yeah. So Fed Williams saying consumer spending has been strong. We're seeing that in retail sales. Look at this rip up here, guys. Look at the SPY up there. So I'm wondering if the market has pivoted to where it now wants economic growth. Again, I think this signals less of a need to cut rates. This is going to push back rate cut expectations longer with higher retail sales data. All right, so we got a nice little rip up here. We'll see if we get some better action now. Pushing all the way back up on retail sales data. Honestly, I'm for it. Good thing you cut that trade short. Yeah, no, I got out perfect time to avoid this big move here. Could have been a lot worse, Big rip up in markets too, man. Wow. Crazy strength. Yeah, I get it. This signals less of a need to cut rates. Because again, if economics growing, you don't need to bring interest rates down as much. Alright guys, we got about an hour until market opens. Microsoft at 425.90s. Huge rip in markets. Here, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, guys. We'll leave the inflation data expectations up, but we'll be right back. All right, we're back. What does the market do? The market dip honestly looks pretty solid right here. No. Oh, I was going to buy the dip. Look at that big bounce back. So we missed the bounce back. I was going to buy the dip too. I mean, we pay attention to the bond market pretty regularly. The 10-year, you know, TNX. For whatever reason, TNX isn't showing up on my charts right now, which is odd. You know? I'm using, you know, this is MNQM4, which is the NASDAQ 100 symbol currently, the current symbol on the NASDAQ 100. I use MNQM4. Some people use the ESM4, which is the regular E-mini. You know, there's a lot of different ones you could use, to be honest. There we go. We are scalping. So we're currently scalping the regular E-mini here in Apex. We're up about 15 bucks. Give or take. I'd like to see a little bit more upward push here, though. We got 3 contracts left. We'll try to hold the rest around break even if we can. There we go. Pushing up. All right, we'll take a little bit more off. Lock that in. Yeah, we're down less than 50 bucks today. And then this is helping me out, too. I like the dip. We got another chance to take it on the regular E-mini. There we go. We'll cut that, too. So, yeah, we're down like 30 bucks on the day. Could be worse. Kind of bought the dip on the regular E-mini, or the micro E-mini is what we just bought. So we're playing with that a little bit here. I don't know. I just watch oil, Ali K. That's all I'm really going to say is watch oil. Oil might be volatile because of that, you know. Not me, David. I'm not gonna help you, bro. Sorry, dude. You know, realistically, I'm not gonna let anybody move in here. I got a family I gotta protect, man. You know. I wish you the best, though. You know, I hope. I mean, I don't know how you lost your house, but you know, good luck, man. Hope you do well. Hope you get back on your feet, bro. The next Fed meeting is in May, right? So it's not this month. The next Fed meeting is next month. All right, so we're consolidating a little bit here. We got a nice little dip. I might buy this dip now. So we're going to take 2 contracts here. It looks like a flag pattern. So we're going to try to scale in, take some positions here. I do think retail sales coming in higher than expected. It's not necessarily a good thing. There we got 6. We'll take up to 8 here. And then we'll try to get out 4 per position. We got to take a little risk, so that's all we're doing here. But I'm going to try to be patient. I want this to retrace back up. I don't really like this go. I'm going to take half of this off just because I didn't like, it's too risky. You know? It's too risky. I can instead try to give it time to work. I have to use risk management and like protect myself in these instances. And I can make it back in moments like this. You know? There we go. Nice. Maybe we'll choose to add back to it on this pullback here. We got 3, 4 contracts. I like the flag-esque pattern here. I do like the flag-esque pattern. There we go. All right, we just took another half off. Slowly grinded it back. Might add it back down. I didn't get a... Ooh, that's a big dip. I could add to this. I think I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to wait. Let's see if we get some better action at the opening bell when the volatility heats up some more. Again, I could add to it. I'm just going to wait, I think. Stocks are mysterious, to be honest, man. Like, you know, the probability that I'd be able to find matching stocks should be high, but I never can, you know. All right, we're going to take half off there. Boom, lock it in. See if we could actually get out green on this trade. That would be really nice. We're flat right now. Oh, actually, we are green on this trade. Take out a little bit more there just to protect the greenness of it. And we'll add a little bit more down here. Hey, bud, you already said bye, but I'll give you another hug, man. Love you, buddy. Yeah. Love you, man. Have a good day, bud. Love you.
Love you.
Have a great day today. All right. I'm taking profit in this trade. I got it muted here, chat. All right, guys. She's not coming?
She is.
Okay, yeah. All right.
No, Jack, no, Jack.
All right, guys. So we're in this trade. We got 2 contracts left. Somehow we've made money on this trade. Here we go. Popping up a little bit. Boom. We took a little half off there. Locked it in again. We're basically flat on the day. There we go. All right, we're going to get out the rest there and just lock it in. Look at NVIDIA rise up to 890s here. So we did make money on that trade. So I did make money on that trade. All right, y'all ready? All right. All right, guys, so we are back. Sorry, I had to talk with the family for a second. Yeah, retail sales coming in way higher than expected. Way higher than expected. Signaling economic growth. Signaling economic growth. The question is, what does this mean? It means more potential inflation problems, in my opinion. But the market has reacted positively to us. The other nuance of this is that the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came in way lower than expected. That might signal economic weakness enough to cause bullish action here. So again, it wasn't just retail sales that dropped. We also had the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index come out. And so, yeah. Here, we'll try to buy this dip. Again, we're basically flat on the day. We had that last green trade that helped us get back to pretty much flat. We've been kind of trading a little bit more actively this morning. We got 3 contracts here. I like this pullback, but I also think that, retail sales data higher than expected might not be a good thing. And there we go. I mean, again, I think the market's starting to correct back down, so we'll give it one more second and then cut it. Again, we're pretty flat on the day, $30 to $60 down, so could be worse. There we go. I'm just going to cut it there. So yeah, we're down. We are down $56 on the day. Small. Also, if you haven't already, again, like I said, check out Apex. Day trade with me. You can see me day trading very similar to day trading stocks and futures. If you want to get your feet wet in futures, check out Apex. Promo code BT will get you the max discount at all times. Great way to learn how to day trade. They've paid out over $100 million as a funded account program. I mean, it's always trending, Courtney. Usually it's just from bears hoping the market crashes so that they can justify their wrong predictions that they've made over the last few years. You got to understand, like, universally in the market, right? Like, universally in the market, you always have bearish predictors, and they've been really wrong. Like, their accuracy rate has been really low. So, I mean, you know. So we did get a bounce, bro. I've been right about a lot of these freaking little dips that I've just gotten kind of scared out of, you know? Yeah, a lot of people, So yeah, Tesla layoff is influencing markets. See, a part of me wants to buy this dip. I guess we'll try it. Look, we'll take a small piece. We're trying to trade small here, believe it or not, but we'll take 2 contracts. So we're still down, but now we're up a little bit. Let's see if that continues. All right, back up. Again, we're trying to trade. We're scaling down a little bit. We're basically flat on the day, though. So now we're down with our 2 contracts. I don't know if I want to add to this. I guess I do. I think the pattern looks bullish, but like, you know, we've also just kind of been chopping back and forth, so we got a little time. Oh, I'm top 3 biggest paper hand traders in the world right now, for sure. Some have nicknamed me previously Big Papa Paper Hands, is what my name was, you know. So definitely top 3 paper-handed traders in the world. We'll get a little bit better action at the opening bell. It's about 8 a.m. It's about 9 a.m. right now, so we'll get hopefully get some better action at the open. All right, there we go. All right, we took one off here, locked it in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, people trying to bet on a stock for political reasons is dumb. Like, look, nothing that goes up this fast is ever gonna freaking hold, chat. Like, it's never gonna hold. Like, thinking it holds is a like obviously wrong mentality, you know. Like, again, you should never mix investing and politics. You really shouldn't, you know. Again, this was never gonna hold. DJT never gonna hold. Right, going up to almost $80 a share when it was at freaking $15 a share recently is just a really, really risky endeavor, right? All right, so again, we made some money on that last trade. We're pretty flat this morning, day trading back and forth. We're down a little bit, but in the 30s, so we're down 38 bucks. So could be worse. The bear flag worked. It just took a little time and chopped me out over and over again. All right, let me see what we got. cart spinning. What is that? Instacart. I see inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, I see a little bull flag long term. Nvidia breaking over the VWAP probably is helpful too. Nvidia breaking over VWAP is probably helpful. Yeah, so again, chat. Paper hands is a term used to describe somebody that doesn't hold a position long enough to make money on it, right? They get scared out of positions easier. I think it's one of the more silly phrases because I think smart traders are careful and should fear the markets. You know what I mean? So like an example of this is they called AMC traders diamond hands, and that was supposed to be a good thing, but AMC has been one of the most depreciating stocks in the market over the last few years. Like everybody that was diamond handsing AMC just lost tons and tons of money. And so, you know, diamond hands is like supposed to be a sign of like a good, like disciplined trader that will hold positions long. Paper hands is like a wimpy trader that sells too quickly. I fear markets. I'm a huge trading wimp. I will sell very quickly if I need to sell. I will limit my size very quickly. And I think that's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I think the fact that they shame people for that is silly. Because again, in the end, most of the people claiming diamond hands have lost tons of money over the last few years. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah. All right, guys. So again, the Nasdaq is testing the top of that range. Nvidia is still pushing up. We got 28 minutes until the market opens here, team. Top 3 paper hands in the world. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, paper hands has a good spot, but not for some of the stuff. Like again, if you're telling somebody they're a paper hands, like here's the easiest way to put it, right? If you're telling somebody they're a paper hands because they don't feel like holding a small cap, incredibly risky stock that's probably going to depreciate over time, you're just emotional about your own losing positions, right? Like, it depends on the stock. You know, again, it depends on the stock. If you're talking about Apple or Amazon and you get scared out every dip, then you're probably making a bad decision. But again, it varies. It depends. If you're talking about low cap risky stocks, you should be paper handed on low cap risky stocks because they're terrible companies most of the time, you know. Okay. Let's see. All right, guys. Again, tested the top, that high, that previous high. It kind of looks like a double top, but it also could be a little cup and handle breakout at the top of the range. I've seen these a lot. Those work really well. So we'll see if that holds too. But NVIDIA at 891s. $25 minutes chat, a little bit less than that. Again, we got this little high up here. I'm gonna get rid of this. I don't think we have anything else coming out today, and I think we're pretty boring economic data wise for the rest of the week. Like tomorrow, we've got Powell in the afternoon. You know, we have building permits, housing starts, and Canadian CPI tomorrow morning. Maybe that'll influence things. Again, we do have Jerome Powell speaking at 1:15 market time tomorrow. We're going to stream it like we always do, of course. I don't know whether he's going to say too much economic stuff. And then Wednesday, we have European CPI. And then Thursday, we got FOMC minutes. Or no, I'm sorry. Thursday, we got Philly Fed Index jobless claims. Bostic speaking. Friday, I'm pretty sure we got earnings all throughout this week though. So like tomorrow we do have some earnings. Friday we have we got Amex, Procter and Gamble. So again, kind of a boring week. I'll say there's not that much stuff going on this week. It's not like there's something to talk about, right? So again, we had retail sales, all that stuff. Tomorrow we've got Powell. Wednesday we don't really have anything. Thursday we got jobless claims, Philly Fed. Friday we have like Amex earnings. Next week we got some stuff. So next week is GDP PCE week. So we got GDP data, we got PCE data, we got flash services PMI Tuesday. So we got and then we also have like Tesla earnings. So let me see what's the week after next. Like, I know earnings season is here, you know, so like earnings season's here. So next week is when the real, like we got Netflix earnings this week. But yeah, so we got Jolt. Okay. So yeah, May 1st. So the week after that's the Fed decision, Jolts, a bunch of stuff. The next rate decision is May 1st. Yeah, I don't know. Waking up's a different thing, an interesting thing. Again, I was the instructor's helper in jiu-jitsu, and gi jiu-jitsu was gi jiu-jitsu, and we were learning bow and arrow chokes, right? And so I was helping the instructor. It wasn't during a live roll. I've never gone out during a live roll, right? But I was the instructor's helper. We were learning bow and arrow chokes, which is a blood choke, which is like it's not affected by breathing, so you can't and hear yourself breathe and be like, all right, I'm good, right? And so we're learning bow and arrow chokes, and it's hard. Like I feel like I tapped, but then he let it go, and then when he let it go, I woke up. Like what I heard was I started hearing reggae music in my head. So I'm hearing like Bob Marley reggae music in my head. I wake up, and everybody's standing around staring at me, and they were like, "John, you were snoring with your eyes open." And so I went out with the coach, you know. So again, I heard reggae music, which is interesting, you know. They said sometimes you hear music though when you go out. Anyway, the only time I've ever gone out, you know. So I've never gone out during a live roll or anything like that. Just only bow and arrow chokes are rough, dude. They're freaking rough. Bull run is here. Yeah, I don't know. E-mini bullish block trades not being protected. Yeah, I mean, again, we're looking kind of flat right now. Like, this looks choppy to me. It doesn't look like we have any type of really favorable price action here. I think it's mostly just kind of down, up, down, up. You know, we've got this sideways like rectangular range here that's going to be hard for us to break out of until the opening bell, I think. You know, maybe not. We might break it. And if we do, it's kind of a cup and handle looking breakout, but... Somebody said darkest trading moment. I'm reading this guy. And he said, somebody gave me 70K to trade. It was FOMC. My thoughts, let's do 10K today. Dumb decision. In 13 minutes of panic trading, the account went down to 25,000. Wife says, come on, we're getting late for groceries. Sometimes you have to cry on the inside, he says. I mean, listen. That it hurts to even hear that, right? Because I think everybody can relate to that type of thing, especially in trading. It's one of the reasons, like, look, again, guys, I would feel terrible if I encouraged people to behave that way, right? Like, I don't care what kind of money I can make. I would feel horrible if I encouraged people to trade that way, right? Like, my job is to make sure people don't do that, right? Like, they don't do that, you know? And again, if you think you're going to be an outlier and you're somehow going to be some savant, you're not. I'm sorry. You're just not. Right? You could buy best mentorship program ever, follow the best mentor ever. You're still going to lose money in the beginning. You're not going to be able to make percentages like that, right? Like if it was easy to make a quick 10, 15%, everybody would be super rich, and they're not. You just got to be smart, right? You just got to be smart. The real dummy is the person that gave you 70K to trade. But again, I think people get sold on a dream. You know, I think people get sold on a dream. They think they're just going to get rich. Or somebody believed in me enough to give them 70K. If somebody gave me 70K, again, I'm not going to tell... please don't. I'm not going to do anything for you. There's no way I would ever accept it, number one. If somebody came to me and was like, yo, John, I want to give you X amount of money. Please take it and make me money. I would always say no. I'm going to say, no, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I've had in-law. Like, I've had an in-law come to me and be like, hey... Like, while we were on vacation, too. Like, while we were on vacation, they're like, hey, John... What if I give you $4,000? She said, can you try to roll that $4,000 into more? You know? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. You know? Like, the likelihood that I'm going to lose money is high. You know? Like, again, maybe I make money, right? Like, there's a chance I could make money. It's all, you know, coin flip, I guess. But it's just so risky to do that, and the last thing I want is some in-law angry at me that I lost their money, you know? Like, I'm good. I told her. I think she respected me more for it because I was like, no, not doing it, you know? But again, if I had to, if somebody gave me 70K and they were like, you have to take this, I would probably just diversify and sit in stuff long-term. Like I said, I'd buy the NASDAQ 100, the S&P, gold, real estate investment trusts, and bonds. And I would probably keep it more bond-heavy, but maybe do some... like some of the S&P, NASDAQ, gold portfolio as well, and just tell them to sit on it for 10, 15 years. They'll make money. That's the safest way to do it. But outside of that, you know, the only money I'm willing to lose is my own in that way, you know. What about gold? The gold guys, man. Man, the big streams will get nothing but gold guys. They'll say, buy gold. You know, I see like the little aliens on Toy Story come out. They're like, buy gold, buy gold. Buy gold. That's all I hear, you know. Like the big streams, like FOMC meetings, bro. You just get tons of people showing up. Buy gold. Should I buy gold? Where's gold at? Should I buy it? Buy gold? You know? It's like, who are you? Like, why in the world would you ever think asking some random dude on the internet whether they should buy gold is the right decision? If I'm like, yeah, what do you do? Are you going to really go out there and buy gold? Yeah, I mean, I've done the poker talk as well. I'm a poker player too. It's very similar, you know. Mahogany John, the baller, top 3 mahoganies in the world right now. My daughter once thought that fajita was an animal, right? And so they said, "Hey, what type of meat do you want?" And she said, "Fajita." You know, I still kind of troll her to this day about it. You know, I told her, I was like, "Maddie, you know, fajita is just the way they cook it, right? It's beef most of the time. It's fajita beef, right? But it's just the way they cook it." Yeah, I told her where the wild fajitas roam is usually the one I troll her with, you know. I'm going to sing a song about wild fajitas and where they roam in life, you know. Yeah, fajita hunter, that's right. All right, guys, so again, Schwab did drop their earnings. No, a fajita is how they serve it and how they cook it. It's any stripped grilled meat. It's usually served with peppers and onions. Yeah, you thought they grew on trees? Maybe they do. You know. All right, chat. All right, guys. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm sat a fajita, you know? All right, is that the bad dad joke, right? It's about as dad jokey as I can get there. All right, so we did slightly break the highs here on the NASDAQ here, chat. We did slightly break the highs. Well, it sounds like Dragon Ball Z, Tyler, if you pronounce the J. What's your favorite exercise? I don't know. I do like a mix of like, it depends on like, I do a mix of like skull crushers with like hammer curls, you know. I used to bench a lot. I'm getting too old to bench, I think. You know? What kind of southerner are you? I know, man. Listen, I'm slacking. I'm a Louisianian, right? So I'm not a true southerner. I'm from Louisiana. We're like a different country over there. Anyways. NASDAQ at 18.34s. Tested the highs. Again, I'm too concerned we're going to reject this high and go flat. We have had this upward trend. Like, you can kind of see it does look like a flag. You know? So we do have a flag pattern here on the NASDAQ 100. I'm just kind of sitting tight waiting, though. 500 pounds for your squat? I don't think I could squat that much. I could probably squat 4, you know? I don't know, though. Yeah, I actually only use dumbbells for the most part. Triple top on the Dow. Yeah. Dow's had a run, man. It hit 40K. It's pulling back, though. Green on the day. Very green on the day with everything else. All right, so again, we're testing the highs again. Let's see if this flag pattern does anything. I bench, right? Like, I bench. I have a bench press here at my house, in my garage, right? So I bench pretty regularly. But, again, I'm getting too old for it, man. I'm in my 30s. I don't feel like injuring myself and being out for a long time. I would rather just, you know, keep it light. Well, push-ups are different than benching. Kettlebells are cool. I'll usually like get kettlebells and put them on each side and just walk, like really heavy kettlebells and just kind of walk. I think that's good for core, you know. Yeah, again, inflation's a problem. I'm surprised the market's pushing up on these retail sales numbers here. I really am. I'm surprised the market's pushing up this much on retail sales data. Again, I think inflation's hot, and I think that rate cuts are less likely the greater retail sales data shows up as. And that's kind of what we're at now, where inflation's hot, retail sales numbers are, you know, hot as well. And that, I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, a good sign. We'll see, though, you know. Yeah, definitely top 3 in the world right now. What's your max bench? I mean, I don't know, man. I was never like a, you know, I probably can bench right now, like 240, you know, maybe. Like, it's not a lot. Like, it's not like a really heavy bench, you know. I don't know what the most I could ever do was, but. Yeah, I'm like 175 pounds or so. I've lost a little bit since I started doing jiu-jitsu. So, I mean, I was like 285 when I started jiu-jitsu, and then very quickly I lost lots of weight, you know. All right, so the Dow is pumping up. Lululemon looking weak. Is the retail sales news good or bad? I joined late. They were higher than expected, right? But the market has reacted positively to that, I guess, from economic growth signals. Again, the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came in way lower than expected. You can see it showed up at minus 14.3. Again, kind of a rough look because that signals economic weakness, and maybe that's why the market's reacting favorably. Is because, but what it really signals is manufacturing weakness. We have this flag pattern, and again, I told you guys I was too concerned that we were going to reject up here, which is what we've done so far, but this flag pattern seems to be holding. So we'll wait. Again, we'll wait. Market opens up in like 6.5 minutes, and so we don't need to rush it right now. We're essentially flat heading into the opening bell as well. We are down a whopping $38 today, so we got some, you know, money to make back up, but we're not going to go too crazy. We'll see if we get some good trends at the opening bell. And yeah. The oldest pair of Levi jeans from 1873 was auctioned off for $100,000. I mean, it's cool, but it's not that cool. I don't know if it's 100K cool. You were 285 pounds? Of course not. 285, bro. I wish. Actually, I don't wish that. I was 185. That's probably the heaviest I've ever been to. I'm not that big, you know. Yeah, we'll see if we can get anything good. All right, 5 minutes, chat, 5 minutes. We are breaking down. Look, we're under this trend line here. Yeah, I'm waiting to. I've taken enough trades to where I don't feel like getting called in anything. It's too choppy. We got a double top up there now. We'll have to wait for this to break at the open if we do have upward action after the opening bell. But did I say 285? Oh, if I did, I misspoke. My bad. Markets are pushing up some. Nike's bouncing back some more too. We bought some heavy Nike, or not heavy, but we bought some more in Nike a few days ago, and that's been doing pretty well. Let's see what Nvidia does as well. Nvidia pulling back to the VWAP. Still kind of holding this trend though, so we'll keep it up. Good or bad is a little bit too simplified, AJ. I think it varies, man. It could be good or bad. Again, it depends on how you look at it. If you're fearing a recession or depression, then higher retail sales numbers are good, right? If you're fearing inflation, then higher retail sales numbers are bad. They're not good. So it just depends on the way you look at it, I think. All right, chat, we got 3 minutes. Who is fearing recession after those hot job reports? Nobody that understands economics, really. Nvidia to 900 today, potentially. I don't think 900 is without, you know. I think it's possible. I guess we can fix this and see if we got some updated data on this trend. So more of a wedge now, I think, than a flag. Nvidia bounced up though over 890s. Yeah, we're at like $9 away from 900s on Nvidia. I think that's possible. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but it could happen. Let me end this poll number. We already got retail sales data out. Let's do another one. Does the market close red or green today? Vote on the poll. We are getting a bounce up though. So 1.5 minutes, chat. 1.5 minutes. Yeah, Tesla is laying off some people. About 10 to 15,000 jobs. Microsoft just broke highs again. We are seeing some tech stocks going up. Yeah, there's just so much conflicting information, though. He said, John, if you want to get ripped, get a juicer. There's so much conflicting information, though. Like, on one side of the health spectrum, you got people saying, hey, you know, gluten's bad, meat's good, you know, anything that, like, oats are bad, you know, grains are bad, you know. The only thing you can eat are meats and juice, or meats and veggies and fruits, right? That's the only thing you can eat. Right, meats, veggies, and fruits. Everything else is bad, right? You got another end of that spectrum saying all veggies are good, right? So including grains, they're saying grains are good. You know, they're saying oatmeal is good. They're saying all these different things. It's so hard to figure out what's the truth and what's not. You know, it really is. Dow breaking up, testing highs here. So Dow's ripping up. We got 5 seconds left, chat. All right, there's the bell. We are flushing down a little bit. Look at the NASDAQ fall. Oh, definitely getting some selling pressure at the opening bell quickly here. Look at the selling pressure show up. Wow. NASDAQ giving it all the way back here. Could be a delayed response from higher retail sales. Man, look at this bear move. Big breakdown under that trend line. Wow. It's a big drop. Look at Nvidia come down too. The Dow's doing okay, so the Dow's actually moving up. It's a big drop at the open. Pretty big dip. SPY's not doing that bad. This is mostly tech. It looks like it's mostly Microsoft giving it back. Google coming down a little bit. All right, look at Nvidia drop. This is the weakness that I'm looking at. Nvidia just dumped. I'm gonna short. We'll add to it if we bounce up some. Didn't really get a chance to. Look at Nvidia come all the way down here. All right, so we just took half off. All right, we just cut it a little bit more. All right, look at Nvidia come all the way back up here too. I'm gonna buy this now. 2 contracts. Kind of a risky trade, but we'll play with it. Nvidia's testing highs now, so. All right, we just took a little bit more off. All right, we can just cut that and just, you know, we're completely flat on the day, so that's nice. Big swinging open though, big swinging up and down a lot, really. Big swings. All right, we have 2 contracts here. We're trying to play this extension, you know, catch a fallen knife to a certain extent. A little risky, but it's all right. We're flat on the day. We can play with it and see if we get anything good. Market extensions on the downside for sure. But I might be wrong, and we might just lose, you know. Certainly possible. Yep, man. Punished, you know. Nvidia's coming right back down too. So yeah, now we're down about 80 bucks on the day. We'll wait. Market's kind of chopping back and forth and going up and down. Microsoft is really looking pretty weak. Google coming back up a little bit though, so Google looks okay. Nvidia broke lows too, unfortunately. Huh. Yeah, it could be just a late response to could just be a late response to retail sales data. You know, certainly could. All right, look at the breakdown. So it could be a late response to retail sales. Goldman earnings have been out already. Goldman earnings really pushed the market higher. Again, we made our money back here too, so like we're down $47 today. So we've never been down more than 100. Again, we made a little bit scalping the E-mini, and then we're up a little bit more in the E-mini here. You can kind of see we're in this one now too. Took a little bit more off there, locked it in. We're right back to where we were at the opening bell, to be honest, scalping this. I'll hold this, the rest break even. We're gonna cut that right around break even. So yeah, we are now down 44 bucks, right around where we were to start the day. The NASDAQ has had a big turn down though. Look at this big turn. Nvidia hitting the previous closing price too. If we get a bounce up to like maybe here, we will short this, but we need to bounce way back up. All right, so we're starting to bounce back up. I'm going to take one contract here. We'll play with it. Just one, though. We'll add to it, too, if it bounces up to that level. But I'm going to give it time to bounce before we add. Maybe we should have added to it. We would have made money there. All right, so we just made about 20 bucks back. Yeah, so here's the P&L. So we're down 25 on the day now. Again, very flat day. We actually have a good win-loss ratio. I don't know how choppy we are anymore. We're less choppy now. Alright, so there's another one. We'll add another one here. We'll try to just do the same type of short again. 2 contracts, 3 contracts. There we go. We're trading micro contracts of the regular NASDAQ, so it's a little bit safer. We just took half off there, protected it. Yeah, we've got... Alright, we'll take another half off, locked it in. We got a nice little range we can add to this. There we go. Alright, we took another piece. Beautiful breakdown flush. Yeah, we're back to break even on the day. Look at Nvidia though fighting it back. That's one of the reasons I wanted out, because look how Nvidia's all the way back up too. So just kind of a shakeout, I guess, there. Yeah, I mean that's not what it is, donkey. The market's already reacted to the stuff overseas. The market's probably going down on just profit taking from the opening bell. The market's already established the stuff going on overseas and reacted to it. If you look at Friday as an example, I think it was Friday. If you look at Friday on something like the S&P 500, you can kind of see. Let me see where it was. You can see oil when oil started to spike. You know, there's always usually oil spikes whenever whatever macroeconomic weakness happens, like conflicts. So you can see oil spiked on the 12th, the morning of the 12th, right? That's when most of this stuff really started to affect markets. If it's another reason, if you look at the SPY, it's actually pretty red on Friday from all that stuff too. But this morning, we bounced back, and the SPY is actually still very green on the day, despite what the NASDAQ is doing. Yeah, look at Nvidia start to run. Look at the SPY. So... yeah, Tesla was down on cuts. Oh, this looks like a short, but this looks very strong on Nvidia. And so I don't trust it enough. We're basically neutral on the day too, so it could be worse, I guess. Yeah, Nvidia's starting to come back. Nvidia at 893s. I don't want to get caught in that Nvidia swing up as well. That's the only reason I'm not shorting this, and it looks like it's the right move because, again, Nvidia starts to, if Nvidia squeezes up, it's just going to drag everything else up despite patterns, technicals, anything like that. So I don't feel like getting caught in that on the opposite end of it. So that's just the microchip ETF, right, Lynn? All right, so we're breaking higher. All right, I'm going to short this. It's kind of a risky trade, but we're going to take one contract and just play with it. See if Nvidia rejects there like we think it might. Luckily, there's just one contract here. We're going to have to cut it, looks like. Yeah, we're going to have to cut it. Nah, we lost like $6 there or something. All right, so Nvidia at the top. TSO. Question is, are we going to chop sideways or actually make a move up? Nvidia's breaking highs though. Nvidia up there, starting to go. Let's see if it continues. So we scalping a little bit of the regular E-mini here. We've already taken profit on it. We had 6 contracts. And now we're kind of flat on the rest. Cup and handle look, so we'll play with it in that way, but all right, there goes Nvidia. I'm gonna add to this now. All right, so we're in 4 contracts of the regular E-mini. Flat. See, I don't like this though. Look at Nvidia's big upwick. I don't know if I like that here, but I like the pattern. You know, I do like the pattern. The pattern looks good, but it's taking too long. Where's gold at? Gold's down. Gold's looking weak. We're still flat on this trade. I'm waiting for a bounce up or something. I'm going to cut half of this here. The reason I'm cutting at break even is because Nvidia dipped down here, and that way we kind of limit our risk. We're up on the day. We're actually green on the day. It's been a long road. So again, we are up a cool $7. So you love to see it. trying to be patient with this, but it's taking too long. There we go. All right, we'll take half off, lock it in. That's cool, I guess. Take another half off. Took so long. We're finally up like a little bit on the day, but very neutral. And now we're turning on the last little bit too. Very flat last 5 minutes here, chat. Not really much going on. And again, I'm day trading on Apex right now. So again, you see me trading. What I'm trading right now is the S&P 500. We're going to get out there. Kind of a flat trade, to be honest. This is the S&P 500. This is the NASDAQ 100 right here. So I can day trade the QQQ, the SPY, price action, and futures. There's no PDT rule. Again, Apex gives you a demo. They test your skill. It's a good middle ground to learn how to day trade with limited risk, is what it is. Most new traders that put up money lose it. And so with that in mind, this is a much cheaper way to do it. You put up 30 or 40 bucks instead of thousands. If you pass it, you get a 90% split in funding. If you don't pass it, you only lose 30, 40 bucks, right? So the risk is limited. They're one of the most legit in the world. They paid out over 100 million. I'm using a 50K funded account here. So this is a 50K funded account that you see me trading on today. 90% split. So if I make 10K, I get to keep 9 of that as long as I can follow their rules. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased, of course, because they pay me money, but a great way to learn how to day trade. And if you're good enough and you think you can pass it and get funded, a cheap way to get funded. So you can check them out. Here's the link. Use promo code BT if you want the max discount at all times. BT. It'll get you the max. Again, we've gone from what was a red day to otherwise pretty flat. When you include commission, we're probably down a little, we're probably down a little bit, but that's okay. Could be worse, to be honest. Very neutral open, not a lot going on. Also remember, guys, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I do trade off stream sometimes, and so I certainly do trade off stream and play around off stream. Can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose. Market's really flat, to be honest, right now. There's just not a lot of good price action here. Hopefully you guys find some better stuff to do, but for me, it's pretty boring. This looks bearish, too. Like, the SPY looks bearish. This trend doesn't necessarily look good. Whatever happened to Nike? Okay, Nike's down. I bought Nike a couple days ago. I'm still green on the day in equities. Red in futures. Yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and close it down. I just don't see anything else that I really like here today, chat. Market's very flat and kind of boring. Not a lot going on. We don't have any economic data out. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, I'm going to look at one thing that I should have been looking at all morning, which is Chart Prime. It's a trading view indicator service. This is a sponsor of mine as well. And so I'm definitely biased in Chart Prime's favor as well because they pay me money. I also can't guarantee you're going to make money with Chart Prime. Nobody can. I can't guarantee anything's going to work. You always want to back test it yourself. Always understand that. But I do try to backtest this live on stream to let people see it, right? Because, like, look at this, right? So this is from the last few days. Like, look, if we backtest this ourselves, right? Look at how powerful this is. Look at the strong signals and how accurate the strong signals are. All right, so, like, let's tally up the last day or so in price action. Again, I haven't looked at this. This is my first time. Strong signal looks like it worked, but we still got to give that one time. Look at the strong buy signal. This is a 5-minute chart, so this is hours, all pre-market. It called this long trend. Sell signal there looks like it followed through. Buy signal there, looks like it worked as well, right? So I don't think any of these didn't work, but again, I might be wrong. Strong signal there, beautiful downward trend. Buy signal there, you got to follow through up. Strong signal there, beautiful downward trend. This one looks like it was wrong, this buy signal here. So that's one that was wrong. Strong signal looks like a beautiful downward trend from it. This one, we got a nice little pop afterwards as well. Look at this strong signal, beautiful drop. Strong signal, looks like it got to follow through, but that one's iffy. So we'll call it 2, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2 out of 12 that I could see didn't work. 10 out of 12 worked. And again, you can use this on any time frame, anything with a symbol on TradingView. There's just a small piece. It's just a small piece of what they offer. They have back testers, oscillators, screeners. It's like $40 a month. One good trade, if you get into it, could pay for it. You know what I mean? But again, I can't guarantee you're going to make money. Nobody can. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose, of course. Always test it out yourself. Figure out what you like it on. Check it on the SPY, the NASDAQ, the Q. You know, the E-mini, whatever you want to look at it on. Check it out. Again, it's called Chart Prime. I'll put the link up here. Yeah. I'll put the link up here. And, yeah, great way to help support the channel. Here's the link. I don't know. We don't really use Horizon milk anymore. We used to drink it, but I think it's, you know, we don't use Horizon anymore. Anyways, there's the link. Check out Chart Prime. If you want to check out, again, Apex day trade with me. NVIDIA looks like it's running up a little bit. So this should influence the NASDAQ positively here. We'll see if it does. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Y'all be good. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Powell speaking in the afternoon. It's not in the morning. It's in the afternoon. We got Powell. We also have some earnings this week here. So if we look at Earnings Whisper, you know, today these are the earnings. Goldman. This evening we've got these. Tuesday we've got, tomorrow morning we got Bank of America, United Health, Johnson & Johnson, Morgan Stanley, Bank of New York. So a lot of stuff tomorrow morning. So that'll be fun. And then again, tomorrow morning, big earnings. Tomorrow afternoon, Powell speaks. And so we'll see how that goes. Y'all be good. Love you all. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be safe. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. We'll see you guys later. Always remember, chat, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Understand CFTC 4.41. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. Top 3 worst of all time ever. Good luck.